People who were made to choose between your pet or your partner, how did your ex react when you chose your pet?
Not me, but my sister chose our cat over her boyfriend of 4 months. He was furious when she dumped him and called her an idiot for picking a dirty flea bag over him. Cat was not a dirty flea bag, he just hated pets and wanted to try to control my sister. I was relieved when she dumped him. I never got good vibes from him.
Jesus, I can't imagine having the gall to demand any kind of lifestyle change after only 4 months in a relationship, let alone one as major as getting rid of a pet.
I remember him saying my diabetic cat needed to go so he could get a dog. We weren't even living together. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "My cat will outlive this relationship," considering she was really sick at the time. He said it was unlikely and stormed off. We broke up 6 years ago and my cat is still going strong.
That's amazing. I'm worried about my cat getting diabetes because he's really resistant to being handled, and I think injections would be awful for him. But it's so good that she's doing so well.
My cat hates being picked up, but couldn't care less about the shot. I just give her a little pinch and prick and she goes on her way. Hopefully your cat stays healthy.
She acted like she'd never even considered I'd choose the cat over her. I don't think that thought had ever entered her mind. Then she went into a big spiel about how I'm a loser, I'm missing out, there's only one of her, etc. etc. Yeah, I knew all that when I put my foot down over her idiotic jealousy of the cat liking me more than her. The cat is now 16 and still with me, happy in her senior years. There's been other women since her, ones that treated me a lot better than she did. It was a total win for both the cat and myself.
I have a 14-year-old calico that started as a family pet but bonded intensely with me. My husband was very sketched out by cats when we were dating. When things got serious and we talked about our future together, I told him point blank that she'd been in my life longer and there was no way I could leave her behind. He started coming over more to spend time with her. He would watch my cat from hell and read about cat behaviors, needs, and introducing them to new environments. We moved her into his apartment for about 6 months and then drove halfway across the country with her. She's now the queen of our NYC apartment and can't seem to choose which of us she likes better. Edit, cat tax, https://www.reddit.com/r/tphius/comments/lb2ag1/yawns_with_source equals/medium_ios_app and UTM_name equals iosmf closing parenthesis.
This is so wholesome. He went out of his way not just to get to know her but learn about cats and everything they need and want to be happy. He's probably a better expert on cats than most owners at this point lol. Edit. So many typos goddamn.
He is. He loves messing with her and always gets worried for her when she does something he's never seen before. It's really sweet and I love him even more for how much effort he puts into his relationship with our cat.
I bred tarantulas professionally for a few years, most were in a specially designed shed outside, but I had a few in the house. Was totally upfront with people when dating, and if it was a deal breaker, then no hard feelings. I dated this one guy for a few months, but we'd always go out or to his. I didn't really think much of it. Around month 4, he started getting annoyed and one day, straight up asked me how long it was gonna take to sell a few spiders. I thought he was talking about my actual job, so I was like, oh, I sell them in bulk to a supplier. He's coming round on Tuesday, actually. And my BF was so relieved, but I couldn't really understand why. So the dude comes round on the weds and sees the tarantulas in the house and goes on an absolute tirade about how I lied to him, how I've broken his trust, and how he's gonna need time to heal. NGL, I just burst out laughing. I was like, you really thought I was gonna give up my job for **you***? Well, that was apparently not the reaction he expected. He stormed out, yelling about how I was such a dumb bitch for not realizing how great he was LMAO. Tried to crucify me on social media, but he just ended up looking like an idiot lol.
What kind of idiot doesn't get that when you say you breed an animal professionally that means that they're not just your pets and you will always have some around? Like dude, they're your effing job, without them you have no money.
I was more than happy to compromise, and put the ones in my house outside when people came over. But I wasn't gonna get rid of 10,000 spiders and my livelihood for a 4-month relationship.
was getting a divorce and the ex-wife demanded my dog or she'd take me to court over the house. I reluctantly gave him to her. She called me 5 days after taking possession of him. He was chewing everything of hers, peeing all over her and her new boyfriend's house. I got him back and he never did any of that for me. Still have him and he is 15 years old now.
What a good boy.
I'm just glad she never put him down for doing that and returned your boy to you.
Not my story but my friend. His GF forced him to choose between her or dog, but that dog was remaining memento from his deceased mother and of course he instantly dumped his GF. His GF went from face full with expectations to beet red full of shame and anger and smashed his house windows when she left his house.
Hope she got arrested.
He couldn't do anything to report police cause he sells WD in his house and I could smell WD if I visit him and he don't want to police find out if he report to cops.
I found out my girlfriend was hitting my dog when I wasn't around. I left her and she was unable to admit that was the reason. I guess answering the question of, what happened to you guys? With, oh, he found out I was secretly hurting his dog, might make for awkward conversations.
How did you find out?
I would reach out my hand to pet him and he would flinch. He also would try to avoid her and if he couldn't he would go submissive. I finally asked because he was in a corner and she approached him and she raised her hand as if to hit him. I asked if she had been hitting him in the head and she said yes basically. She just used about 500 words to answer the yes or no question.
This happened to me too with a guy. I caught him on Arlo cameras after I changed the batteries which had been dead for the duration of the relationship. I had him arrested and he was charged with a felony. Mind you, my dog is 12 pounds, 13 years old, and blind.
2 friends of mine dated seriously years ago. Girl's cat had jealousy issues and peed on guy's shoes. Guy put cat in the bathtub and pissed on cat. Relationship didn't last much longer. Edit. I really should have mentioned that he was wearing the shoes when the cat did this.
The cat pisses on my stuff and it's fine. But I piss on the cat and suddenly it's a huge deal. What a double standard.
This dude I used to date had a cat who was so attached to him. Whenever I came over, she would get so jealous. I was nice to her, pet her, cuddled. But as soon as I'd show the dude attention, she would be so hurt and just leave the room. One morning I left to go to work to find a big puddle of cat piss in my shoe.
Not exactly what you asked for, but I knew a couple that had to break up because she was badly allergic to his elderly dog. They were both understanding of the situation and theirs was no animosity. They ended up getting back together after the dog had passed away and are now very happy. Edit. For those asking, there was about a 2-year period between their breakup and reunion. She tries allergy treatments and they didn't work. No, he couldn't just leave his dog home alone all night and just spend time at her place. Dog died of cancer, old age around 12 years old. Neither was upset at the other during the breakup. It's truly a nah situation.
Or that makes me feel kinda nice. It also sounds like it could be a rom-com plot.
I love this one. The dog got to live peacefully, with a happy ending in the end. Did they have communication between breaking up and getting back together?
Yes. They remained friendly during the approximately 2 years they were broken up. They dated other people between and got back together after they both were single and the dog had passed from natural causes.
As someone who recently got into keeping venomous reptiles, I'm sure this will be an issue at some point.
Even non-venomous reptiles can be an issue. Several of my boyfriends have been afraid of snakes. And even more tarantulas. Though usually they calm down when they see you aren't treating them like toys or being a dumbass about them.
My ex asked me if she thought my dog liked me or her more and I said me. She got genuinely mad and told me I am supposed to just lie to her. Didn't last long.
Why would your dog like her better? Sounds like some entitlement.
She was full of herself.
Not me, but my sister was dating a guy who angrily accused her of loving her elderly cat more than him. She said she did. She had had him for 14 years and they had only been dating for about a month. Guess he wasn't expecting that because he just kind of shut up and left the house.
Lol. Guys, I've been dating this chick for over a month now and she still likes her cat more than me. Sure, she's had him for 14 years, but come on. It's just a cat. Dude can F off. I'm married with 3 kids and I still have a special spot in my heart for my cat, Stella, who is 14 this year. I was gifted her maybe 1 to 2 years before I met my husband, so he understands our bond.
How do people not realize family pets are family?
True story. X says, I am leaving. I am all worried about our cats. Don't want to lose them, don't want to separate them. X says, don't worry, I am not taking the cats. Immediate relief. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Be a good human and adopt a pet.
I had the opposite happen when I divorced my ex-husband. When I moved out, I took my 2 cats and my dog. He kept his 2 cats, and had adopted a dog. When we got to our divorce hearing, he was trying to petition for the custody of my cats. The mediator basically laughed him out of the room.
The dog chose me lol. I divorced my husband and his dog destroyed his house and sadly wouldn't eat properly or do anything but stress until he came to live with me and my dog. But to be fair, my ex is terrible at pets. He just kept him outside all day and night with no interaction. The dog is a Great Dane, and at the time it was me, my toddler and my dog in a little townhouse, but we gladly took in the big guy over keeping him alone and miserable with his actual owner.
You can learn a lot about a person by how they treat animals.
True story. I'm paraphrasing. My friend had his girlfriend spend the night at his house. While he was making her breakfast, she began complaining about his nasty dog. My friend told her, "You should stop complaining, the dog lives here and you don't." They broke up a week later.
My friend got mad at his Chief's dog. His GF yelled at him. I told him, "You know who she will choose if this keeps up, right? I think we all know how it works."
I had an incredibly toxic boyfriend who had at one point paid the fee for a rescue cat for me for my birthday. The cat really didn't like him. She wasn't aggressive, she was just skittish and didn't want to be around him. We had gotten into a fight earlier that day about something unrelated, and he decided to start ranting about the cat and how he believed we should get rid of her, that she was a bad animal just because she was skittish, she was a rescue. And a very loving one at that if you let her come to you when she felt safe. He started to threaten to leave her at the Humane Society or get rid of her when I wasn't around, so I couldn't stop him. I told him to get out of my house and immediately broke up with him. Butters is still making quality biscuits at my side and loves to take naps with me smiley face. Edit. Here's Butters. https://imager.com/gallery/gutton9 so closing parenthesis cat tax. She's in an orange hat smiley face.
I dated a guy who told me he would convince me to choose him over my cats. I broke up with him shortly after, mostly due to that. Was happily single, then my now husband comes along and says, "I've always wanted to be the husband of the crazy cat lady." Way to win a girl's heart.
I had an ex that joked about putting my cats in a burlap sack and throwing them into a river. I told him I'd rather stick him in a sack, tie it to an anvil and drop him into a river instead. We didn't date for very long.
Now that man is a keeper if ever there was one.
Had an old friend who chose her ex's dog over the ex. And though there was no choosing in the "one's not around anymore" sense, my dog 1000% loves my husband more than he ever loved me. If I had not married my husband, pretty sure my dog would have given Emmy an ultimatum.
When my husband and I first met, I wasn't sold. But my dogs loved him so much that I gave him another date. And then another. We ended up moving, with the dogs and his cat, to Central America for 2 years, coming back to the US, opening a restaurant and having a kid. The dogs have long since passed from old age. But I'll forever be grateful that they convinced me to go on a second date with the best man in the world.
Mom, I love you, but I think I like stepdad more. If you don't marry him, I'm taking the human and leaving. He's asking you tomorrow. Say yes. Act surprised.
I found out that me ex had been talking to her mum about putting my dog down while I was at work and just telling me she ran away or something. Before that moment I never would have thought I could have violent feelings towards a woman. But now I know in my heart that there's a serious possibility I would have hurt her had she actually done it.
DAAAAAAMN, that's F-Ed.
Holy poo. How did you find that out?
I was using her iPad when her mum texted her. Something about the text looked funny, so I opened up iMessage and read through the conversation. She was mad because I cancelled going out of town because my brother couldn't dog sit for a weekend over a year ago, and was upset that I walked my dog for about an hour after work every day and not doing stuff with her. Her white trash mum and her came up with this whole plan, and it seemed like something that was gonna happen in the near future.
On our first date, my now husband was talking a big game about how he doesn't like cats and cats don't like him while we were hanging out in my apartment with my 2 cats. I said, "Well, they were here first, so don't even think you'll win that one." He wasn't asking me to choose, but I wanted to make damn sure he knew I wasn't going to deal with any sort of ultimatum. You can now catch him holding one of our 4 cats to the window and showing him interesting things outside or burying his face in belly fluff.
I've found that a lot of people who claim to dislike cats or dogs come to love them as they live with them longer. It's not always the case, but it's hilarious when it is.
Not my partner, but my mom gave away my dog when I was away on a trip visiting my sister when I was 18. She called me while I was away to explain my dad was going to leave her if she didn't rehome him. Fast forward several years later. My mom gave her cat to my 7-year-old daughter only to later take the cat back after getting mad at me for something. 2 years later, my daughter still cries over missing the cat. I went no contact with her immediately following that incident. I ended it before she gave me the ultimatum. I would notice that she would get really annoyed with my dog some days. Well, we broke up once I noticed that my dog will never break my heart.
I personally didn't want any animals when I met my girl. She had 3 dogs around 80 pounds each that live in her house. It really made me nervous about living together. I was never much of a domestic animal lover. I personally saw it as a waste of time and money. We've lived together for 3 years now. We have 5 dogs now, and they are the best part of my day. Never knew what I was missing out on.
Are all 5 80 pounds? Because that has to be the biggest and cuddliest pile-up ever.
Hit or miss. They fluctuate depending on temp. They're very big doggos. Our smallest 2 are our Pitbull and Grey Pyrenees. The Pyrenees is just a puppy right now. She is actually my first dog I've owned. She'll grow to be massive soon. She's solid white, her name is Frost, and she's my baby girl.
Had to get a restraining order.
Too many men will make jokes about harming a cat because they don't like them. Both of the men who I've met personally who were violent about cats did get violent with me. I have heard many similar stories online. My dad gave away his dog because his wife said she was allergic. She wasn't, she just didn't like the dog.
This is the only story where someone gave away the pet lol. Made to choose. That really happens. I've had my dog for 12 years, and I've known my wife for 4. For her to expect me to get rid of him would be insane. I've told my wife 100 times, if they were both hanging off a cliff and I could only save one of them, I'd save her, but I'd take a second to think about it first.
My husband tells me the opposite lol. His rationale is I am more capable of saving myself than the dog. I agree, she has 0 chance and I have some chance hanging off a cliff.
Who in the world would trust someone that dumped a pet?
That's a damned good point. If you can't return any loyalty to a creature that's 100% loyal, you're a real POS.
When my husband and I first started dating, he was pretty jealous of my dog. I bottle raised that pup, the mom rejected the litter, I could only take one, traveled across the country with him, had snuggled him almost his entire life. That dog is probably the closest I will be able to get to having a child. He goes literally everywhere with me. So when my, now, husband brought up the hypothetical situation in which I would have to choose between them, he was not happy when I said I would choose my dog, hands down. I made it very clear to him, though, that a large part of that decision would come from his forcing me to choose. My doggo and I are a package deal.
I have started seeing someone recently who loves her cats. I am highly allergic and have not mentioned it yet, only been on 3 dates. I'm afraid it is going to be a deal breaker. It's a shame as things are going really good so far.
There are medical treatments available now for pet allergies. Check it out before giving up on the relationship.
To be fair, anyone giving you an ultimatum to choose between them and one of your loved ones, human or otherwise, isn't interested in a healthy relationship of any kind, and so isn't worth your time. Long story short, never choose the one giving the ultimatum.
What if the pet is the one giving the ultimatum?
I had a live-in BF, we had been together a year, decided to cohab because LDR wasn't fulfilling. I had a cat for 15 years. He didn't demand I get rid of my old man, but he repeatedly made comments about how it was time to PTS because my cat was old and thin. He always commented on my cat's weight. Even went so far as to stop by a vet and pick up cremation pamphlets so I could shop for urns. I spent $$ on all senior blood work, checked thyroid, etc. He had a clean bill of health because I always provided the best nutrition and care. One day I told him, the next time you mention me putting my cat to sleep or imply I'm not doing right by him, make sure your bags are packed. He was gone 3 weeks after that. The cat had 3 more wonderful years before cancer got him and I did PTS. People, 15+ years of love and emotional investment will trump your new relationship, every time.
He still lives here and we're still married, but he knows where he stands in relation to the cat. He's coping.
I told my wife I don't like sleeping in the bed with the dog because the dog hair gets everywhere. I now sleep in a different bed and my wife sleeps with the dog.
No me but a friend. Her BF started cussing out at her dog cause he had gnawed on his shoelaces, a little Boston Terrier, a smart doggy, but what a PETA he was. Cussing amped up to trying to kick the dog. My friend laid on her BF something fierce. Next thing she knows, her soon-to-be ex-BF has pulled a knife out of the block and is lunging at her dog. For some goddamned shoelaces, of all things. She grabbed her dog, kinda wrapped herself around him and a-hole BF nicked her arm with the blade. Cops were called in a hole, didn't even go to jail. One of the cops even going all the way to, just a effing dog, should have let him skewer it and be done. Good thing is the story did the rounds in the neighborhood, town rather quickly, and a-hole had to move away cause everybody wanted to have a stern word with him. I love the correct assumption that everyone here chose their pet.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.